Welcome to today's edition of 3 Minute Halacha as we continue to study the laws of mamachik, of smoothing a surface by removing something from that surface. For example, scraping hairs off of a piece of leather to make it smooth, and its subset mimareach, which is smoothing not by removing something, but by adding something, spreading something over a surface. For example, taking wax and spreading it over a surface with cracks so that the surface is now smooth. These two prohibitions play a fascinating role in the question of brushing teeth on Shabbat. First of all, the question of brushing teeth, according to some, it's prohibited, as noted in the Minchat Yitzchak in Chelek Gimel Tshuva Memchet, because of a number of different factors. One is schita, is squeezing out the water that's within the bristles of the toothbrush. The second is that it may cause a person's gums to bleed, which would also be prohibited. And the third is the question of using toothpaste, which is mimareach, smoothing. We'll get to toothpaste in a moment, but first, the Shmirat Shabbat Kilchata actually says that there are many people who prohibit brushing teeth on Shabbat, but Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach clarifies that matter and says that even though there are many who prohibit it, he doesn't understand what the basis of the prohibition is. And in fact, the Grot Moshe and Orach Chaim Aleph, Kuf Yud Bet, as well as the Sridei Eish and Bet Chavchet, both permit brushing teeth on Shabbat without toothpaste, because that question of mimareach is a real question. As the Tzitz Eliezer notes, the issue is, why should toothpaste be any different than using a soap that is viscous on Shabbat, which is also prohibited because of mimareach? Nevertheless, as is familiar to many from Chicago, Rabbi Chaim David Regensburg in his Mishmeret Chaim, Siman Tet, our former Av Beit Din in Rosh Yeshiva, wrote that it's permitted to use toothpaste and brush teeth on Shabbat. And he explains for two reasons. One is that it's not mamachik, because ultimately mamachik, its entire purpose is to make something smooth. And in this case, you're not trying to make things smooth. You're removing the toothpaste from the brush onto the teeth, and it disappears entirely. And nevertheless, what about the other question of mimareach? He said ultimately mimareach is an issue of you want to strengthen that surface, filling in the cracks. The toothpaste doesn't do that either. And therefore, he permits the use of toothpaste on Shabbat. He permits the use of a toothbrush on Shabbat, as is the case as well in the Yabia Omer, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, in Chelek Dalet, in his fourth volume of Tshuva Chav Zayin, also permits. But Rabbi Ovadia Yosef adds one piece, that it's really for someone who needs to brush their teeth each and every day, would be ill at ease if they didn't do so on Shabbat. Interestingly, Rabbi Eliezer Melamed says that nowadays, because of our common practice of hygiene, that you brush your teeth at least once, if not twice a day, everyone should be permitted to be able to brush your teeth on Shabbat. There should be no prohibition. And we see that this is a change, he writes in the Pnei Halacha, of what once was.